You know how putting a piece of plain bread in a toaster can transform something that's kind of, well, flaccid and boring into something delicious and crispy and that's just waiting for butter and jam? Well, tortillas can take on an even more extreme and tastier transformation with a quick dunk in oil. Today, I'm going to show you how to turn a flaccid, floppy corn tortilla into a crispy tostada shell. Hello and welcome to I Want to Cook. My name is Chef Matt and this channel is all about helping you be a better cook. And yes, today I'm going to show you how to make tostada shells. Now here in Southern California, tostada shells are very popular, but if you've never heard of them, basically think of them as a flattened taco. Seriously, the premise is really the same. All the tostada is a corn tortilla that has been crisped and they can then be topped with ingredients. They could be beans, cheese, lettuce, meat, you name it. So think about taco like this, folded flat. Now, store-bought shells like these are readily available and they're actually pretty good. They're also pretty cheap. But just like anything homemade, making these yourself is going to yield a better result, and you know, it could be on your time. Maybe you don't have a package of these and you don't want to go to the store. Well, if you've got two ingredients, tortillas and oil, you can make tostada shells. Okay, in addition to those two ingredients, you're going to need a pan. I like to use a pan like this that has more straight sides. You're also going to want some tongs, the longer the better. And finally, I also advise using a splatter screen. This is going to come in handy and they're pretty inexpensive. If you don't have a splatter screen in your kitchen, well, you should get a splatter screen. Now, as with other high heat, oily recipes, I like to make these outside so that it doesn't stink up the house and get oil everywhere. So meet me outside. We are going to make some homemade, delicious, crispy tostada shells. Yum. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is fill our pan with about 1 inch to maybe 1.5 inches of oil. You don't want it to be too deep. I also like to use a smaller pan for this. This is about 9 inches. If you use a large pan, well, that's kind of a waste of oil. So we're going to heat our pan over high, and we are just going to, again, pour about, let's say, 1 inch of oil into the pan, and we are going to let this get hot. Okay, our pan's been heating for just over 2 minutes. How do you know when the oil is hot enough? Well, just take one of your tortillas and carefully dip it in. And if you see it start to bubble like this, that's when you know it's ready. So here we go. Now you're going to get a rhythm to this. It's kind of like making pancakes where the first couple may not be that great, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to be a tostada making hero. So this is what's going to happen. You put your tortilla in the oil and you just kind of let it float there for about 30 seconds or a minute. You want it to get nice and brown on each side. Now, if it starts to puff up, you can just kind of tap it down here in the middle. That's what I do. But again, you're just kind of going to learn these tips as you make them. That's part of the fun of making homemade tostada shells. So just kind of let it go and let it bubble away. This method, by the way, is called shallow frying. And it's a really great technique. And I like it to use more than deep frying, because deep frying you have to use a lot of oil and it's kind of a waste. This is much easier and much more controllable. Okay, I can see it starting to brown around the edges. Let's give it a turn and see how it looks. Yeah, it's coming together nicely. And as you can see, I also have another dish here. That's where I'm going to put these when they're done. There's a paper towel here to absorb any extra grease. If you haven't noticed, it's really kind of breezy out here today too. I love it. I love it when the winds are going. Okay, and as you get near the end, you can see it's really starting to brown nicely. You can give it a flip too, just kind of make sure everything is nice and even. And I actually like to take these out a little bit before I think they're done because they are going to keep cooking. So here we go. Just shake off that excess oil. And look at this. We have a beautiful, crispy, brown, golden delicious tostada shell. So I like to work in batches and just make as many as you like. So just throw this in. And again, this is where a splatter screen can come in handy. If it starts to splatter, just kind of put this over your pan. We're gonna let this cook, rinse and repeat. Or should I say, fry and repeat. Okay, my second one is done and it looks even better than the first. Again, we're just gonna shake off this extra oil. We're gonna put this nice and tucked away here, and we're just gonna keep the tostada shell factory going here. So again, just kind of lay it in and let it do its thing. Fry, fry, fry. Again, once this oil is nice and hot and everything is just working together, this is going to take about maybe 30 seconds to a minute per side. Just kind of cook this over about medium, high heat. And just cooking to your liking. If you like them a little bit less crispy and more on the lighter side, go for it. If you like them nice and brown and super crunchy, then just keep frying them a little bit longer. Look at this. Doesn't this look delicious? Now, one thing you can also do is as they come out and they go into this vessel, you can also sprinkle some salt. You can also sprinkle some taco seasoning on these for a little extra flavor. Make them your own. Now, this week here is Cinco de Mayo, so I know a lot of folks are going to be looking for Mexican type recipes. Make this if you want. Check out, I've got some other recipes like with salsa, homemade tortilla chips in an air fryer. Check those out. I'll link those below too if you're looking to kind of do an at-home Cinco de Mayo feast. Again, I like to make these in batches. I usually make, up to 20 at a time. And what's nice about these is that they store really well. I just kind of keep them in one of these casserole dishes, and then when I'm ready to use them, I just pop them into a toaster oven at about 200 degrees. I warm them up, and they are delicious. And that is how you turn a floppy, plain corn tortilla into a crispy, delicious tostada shell. And hot sauce. We can't forget the hot sauce. Like a pizza, technically you could eat this with a fork, but come on. I mean, this is handheld, baby. My friends, you cannot buy this in a store. This is crispy, delicious. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy any day of the year. You can now make this at home, anytime, homemade tostada shells. My name is Chef Matt. This is I Want to Cook. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Welcome to my kitchen. If you were here in person, well, we'd be crunching on tostada shells together. Hey, until next time, I hope that you want to cook.